Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject and I move on to the next subject. It's always quick, it's always snappy, and you never know what you're going to get. Now, today, I'm going to do another performer highlight special. These are some of my favourite videos that I do on the channel. I love talking about some of my favourite magicians, and today we're going to talk about somebody who I've interviewed on Magic TV, a huge influence in my career, somebody who has, literally wrote the book on magic over and over again and is held in such high regard by almost everybody I know, and that is Michael Close. Now, if you don't know who Michael Close is, you've been living under a rock. I remember the first time I saw Michael Close. I'd bought his Workers series. So back in the day when I was younger, Michael Close brought out 5 books called the Workers series, and they were very different to normal books. They were spiral bound and there weren't many routines in them, but the routines that were in there were really heavy hitting. They were designed to be working routines for working magicians, and I'd read some of these books and learned some of these routines and blown away by Michael Close's thinking, but I'd never actually seen him live. And then I went to see him perform and lecture at the Blackpool Magic Convention many years ago now. And I was front row for his lecture and also his close-up performance. And oh my God, I remember him doing one of his routines, the card, the salt shaker in the forehead. And I had never been more fooled in my entire life. I had no clue what was going to happen next. The misdirection was sublime. And at that point, I kind of realized that everything I knew about magic, I didn't really know, and I was nowhere near as good as I thought I was. And I've been a huge fan of Michael Close's ever since. Now, since then, he brought out multiple DVDs with L&L Publishing. He brought out the Workers series. He brought out Devious, which was another collection of DVDs. He's published so many ebooks, and I'm not even taking into consideration what he does on Penn and Teller Fool Us and everything else he does. He is a working magician. His stuff is designed to work, and he's got so many insights in the performance of magic. And I really encourage you to go and check out the interview I did with him on Talk Magic. It's brilliant. But on this video, I'm going to basically show you 5 live performances of Michael Close performing to real people. And I really I was surprised at I was surprised at how so few magicians had actually seen a lot of Michael's material. Back when I first got into magic, Michael Close was the person that you studied if you wanted to be a professional magician. And I think that newer magicians that have come into magic might not have seen him perform. So I'm hoping that I encourage people to go and check out all of Michael's work. And if you do, go onto his website. All of the Workers series is available as a download, and they were such a huge inspiration to my career, such a huge inspiration to me as a magician. But we're going to have a look at 5 routines and talk about why they kind of show why Michael is such a great magician. And we're going to start off by probably the most well-known classic Michael Close routine, the pothole trick. Let's have a look at this one first.
Is in Indiana, you see, since we can't make up our mind about winter, one day it might be 50 degrees, the next day it might be 20 below zero, and this takes, the roads take a real beating because of this, and that's where this trick came from. This is a little map of where I live. My house is on the corner of a 3-way intersection, right here, and down the street and around the corner from me, a friend of mine named Don, who is also a magician. He's one away from a 4-way intersection. And Kevin, I want to draw a map of where you are, but I'm a bad artist, so keep it real simple for me. Are you in the middle of a block, on a corner, or near an intersection, near a corner, cul-de-sac?
Kind of the end of a corner cul-de-sac.
Oh, are you at the very end of the cul-de-sac?
3rd house from the end.
Okay. And it's, okay, that's fine. Now tell me this, what happens at the other end of your street? Does it tee, does it cross?
No, it just kind of keeps going.
Oh, wow. One really long street. So I will draw your cul-de-sac there. Now tell me this, you're standing in front of your house and you're facing the street. Do you look right or left to see the cul-de-sac?
To the left.
Good. I was going to, a moment ago, ask you who drives you home, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to shade this in. Is this a residential block with houses on both sides? Okay, and we'll just shade in the street here so everybody can see what's going on. I'm going to put Kevin's name. I'll hold this up so everybody can see it in a second. Kevin, and there's his neighbors. You'll notice that in an effort to suck up to you, Kevin, I've given you the biggest house on the block, so I hope you appreciate that. And before anybody gets angry or bent out of shape, this is not accurate, nor is it to scale. I am not Rembrandt, but neither was Picasso. Anyway, there's Kevin, and the cul-de-sac ends a little on the way down there. Now, the reason I bring up this thing about Indiana, you see, is because during the winter the streets freeze and they thaw and they freeze and they thaw and big trucks rumble over. I have a device in my pocket which represents the ravaging forces of nature. And I would ask of you, Lisa, not to try this at home. I am a pro. First time I did this, I slipped and punched myself out. So you've got to be careful. In deference to people named Chuck, I call this a pothole. And it's deep. Still a guy in Australia waving at you? Good day. Now, I called the Department of Transportation. They would not repair this. I thought, well, I am a magician. I can deal with it. In the middle of the night when nobody could see, I grabbed the pothole and I dragged it down the street.
Wow.
And I pushed it around the corner. And Lisa, as a practical joke, I left it in front of my friend Don's house. Little guy in Australia waving at you. Good day. Yo, dude, now you guys are taking this real calmly, but my friend Don was pretty upset. So the next night he grabbed the pothole, dragged it down the street, past my house.
Get out of town.
That's exactly the plan. That's exactly the plan. Got in his car and he drove to Lake Tahoe. And he found this long road which ended up into a cul-de-sac. Now, he was going to put it way down here at the end of the cul-de-sac, but you notice about 3 houses from the end is Kevin's house. And it was just way too tempting. Now, Kevin, you're here at this fine performance. Are you a magician by any chance?
No, I'm not. No.
Really? Oh, then you got a whole lot of trouble. Right where you live. You may take that home with you.
Now, Michael Close was not the first person to do a moving hole routine, although I think he was probably close to it. But the reason this trick was so good and is so good, and what we can learn from this trick is the reason he's doing a moving hole trick and how he makes it personal to the performer. Now, through his career, to the spectator, through his career, he's had numerous residencies where he gets a chance to perform to people over and over again. And you can just see in his performances, he's always trying to make it kind of mean something to the spectator. Now, I've seen moving hole routines, and come on, let's be honest, since the pothole trick came out, there's been a million moving hole routines. And generally, they're presented in the same way. Look, this is a picture of a hole. Now it's a real hole. Now it's a picture of a hole again. Isn't this amazing? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's absolutely fine. And there's some great presentations of moving hole tricks. Look at Holy Terror by Mike Powers as an example. Some of the stuff that has been done with that plot is incredible. But what Michael Close did is he gave it a reason as to why this moving hole trick was taking place. You know, just the hook line. I've talked on this channel all the time about hook lines and about what you say to get the people's attention that you're performing for. And that's so important, especially with close-up magic, when you're going and performing for people who haven't paid to watch you. They've not bought a ticket. You have to go and interrupt them, and you have to go and win them over straight away. Having a strong hook line is the difference between winning that crowd over or not, and turning around and, you know, having a hook line like, hey, have you ever had a pothole appear in the street from nowhere? Isn't it annoying? I had one outside my house the other day, and he's telling stories without even telling stories. But then the genius part of this routine is the fact that he's using 2 cards. 2 business cards, and the second business card, he's drawing their street on there. So it becomes personal to that person. And now, when he's moving a hole, it's not, look, I'm really clever, I can move this hole over here. It's like Matrix with holes, look at this, it's amazing. Rather than that, it's more a case of, look, this pothole is moving down my street. This is what I did as a magician. It's just brilliant. It really is. And I think that if there's something that we can learn from watching the pothole trick, it's one, you should learn it and perform it. I don't know who here is performing it or not performing it, but it is honestly the best moving hole trick ever invented in magic. That's the first thing that we should do. But the second thing we should learn is, you know, you've learnt the trick, great. Just because the creator of the trick gives it XYZ presentation doesn't necessarily mean that's the way that you go with it. What can you do to make that trick more personal to your audience? What can you do to make that trick more interesting and more engaging and more interactive? And why interactive? How much more interactive can you be than moving a pothole to outside their house, right, in their street? It's just brilliant. Honestly, it just shows how you can elevate a particular genre of magic by just thinking about the presentation and thinking about the hook line. So that's why I wanted to show you the pothole trick first. But we're going to move on now, and we're going to move on to a second routine. Now this, I think first saw this performed on Devious, which was Michael's second set of DVDs through L&L Publishing. It's called The Dumbest Casino in the World. Let's have a look at this.
It's been 10 years since I've done one of these get-togethers here in Lake Tahoe, and right after I finished the last one, I went on a tour doing 60 lectures for magicians, 60 different cities in 90 days. It's quite a thing. I was sort of hoping it would be like a vision quest, that I would learn deep truths about myself and life and the universe and everything. And I really only learned two things. The first thing I learned was that sarcasm is wasted on front desk clerks. They simply do not have the wit to appreciate it. And the other thing I learned was there are a lot of casinos in the United States, more casinos than I possibly imagined. They are everywhere. And I want to talk about this for a minute, because I want to talk about the casino that this card came from. And I'll put it down there, maybe the camera can get a shot of it. It's the Shooting Star Casino, and it's in Mahnomen, Minnesota. The Shooting Star Casino in Mahnomen, Minnesota. It has an interesting reputation. It is the only casino that I'm aware of that opened its doors and went bankrupt 24 hours later. And it went bankrupt because it had the stupidest corporate motto of any casino ever. Its corporate motto was, "The customer is always right." Now, I realize that they picked this motto in terms of customer service, that you were supposed to treat the customer in a way. Unfortunately for them, the inanimate objects of the casino took this to heart as well. Every deck of cards, every pair of dice, every slot machine, every keno ball, every bingo ball, every roulette wheel decided that the customer was always right. And for 24 hours, no one lost. The casino at 8 in the morning, when I got there, sort of looked like the end scene of Day of the Locust. There were fires burning, and craps tables were overturned, and people running hither and yon. And I grabbed this one card off the floor from the Shooting Star Casino. And I want to show you just what a remarkable thing it is. So here's what I'll have you do, Sean. I am going to spread the cards between my hands, and I just hold out a finger for me. Thanks for using that one. And that's actually most people's, that's not their first choice when they see me work. So I appreciate that. And just lay a finger on any card you want. Just touch one. Now, I'm going to stop there because you sort of went from one to the other, and I want to get exactly the one you wanted. That's the one you want, and I'll isolate it. That's the one right there. Hold your hand palm up for me, if you would. Excellent. That's for you. Wait until I turn my back and look at it and show it to everyone, please, while I look out over beautiful Lake Tahoe. It's almost like you could reach out and touch the cardboard. Gorgeous. You got it? Back, please. It was a loner. Good. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show you how remarkable this card is. Now, the bean counters, the accountants at the casino, thought that this anomaly of everyone winning was just a statistical fluke. But I think it's more than that. Here's what I want you to do. Reach over, Sean. If you can lightly press your finger on the top of that card, slide it along the spread, and stop whenever you want. Right there. Now, shall I place this card below this one and above that one?
Yes.
So I'll do it very carefully, just so we see that that's exactly where you wanted it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So here's the deal. The probability of your card being above or below the Shooting Star Casino card is 1 in 26. Everybody with me on that? I have 2 chances out of 52 cards, so it's 1 in 26. Let's check this one first. Was that your card, King of Hearts?
No.
It was not. All righty then. Was it below 5 of Hearts?
No.
Interesting. And yet I'm absolutely positive about the power of this Shooting Star card. What card did you look at?
The 8 of clubs.
Really? Because that is the card. From the Shooting Star Casino. Thanks. Thanks so much. Let me mix these a bit, and I want to try that again with amber. Here's what I want you to do, Amber. We're going to do the same thing that Sean did. Hold your finger out and lay your finger on any card you want. Now, once again, you hit 2. Do you want that one that your finger's on now or the one above it? Let's isolate it. You need to do like he did it. Oh, you did it already. Fine. Good. Hold your hand out. Now, if we have something going on here, strange because of this card, you will have taken his 8 of clubs again, even though you had an absolutely free choice. That will be the 8 of clubs. Show them. No, wait a minute. That's the 10 of clubs. You had the 8 of clubs.
Correct.
This is why the place went out of business, because you see, at the Shooting Star Casino, the customer was always right.
Now, that's a really fun routine, but the reason I wanted you to look at this routine next is it's kind of an extension of what I was saying with the pothole trick. If you actually think about the routine that you've just done, or you've just seen, right? If you actually think about it for a minute, think about the structure, it's a little bit like Chicago Open or Red Hot Mama, right? It's very, very similar. They pick a card, the card changes, well, it doesn't, but a stranger card is the card that they've picked, and that a stranger card turns into another card. It's basically Chicago Opener. But there's a couple of massive differences here. And the first massive difference is the technical aspect of the routine, like how it's actually put together. Rather than having the stranger card appear out of nowhere, the stranger card is brought into play at the beginning. And rather than telling the audience that that stranger card is their card, the stranger card apparently is being used to find their card, and when you fail, it becomes more impressive that the stranger card is actually the card that they picked, and then you're set up for the second phase. So technically there's a lot of differences, presentationally there's a lot of differences. By the way, he's using a move in this routine called the MC spread double lift, which he first published in, I think, Workers number 3. And if you don't or haven't learnt the MC spread double lift, you really should. There's some fantastic applications of it. It's basically a way of having someone touch a card from a deck and setting up for a force and a double lift just in the action of having them touch any card. Darwin Ortiz had a lot of applications for this as well that he published before he passed away. But the MC spread double lift is amazing. It makes it it makes it look way better than the classic average handling of Chicago Opener. And the fact that the card has been brought into play really kind of leads them up the garden path that they're going to walk up, and then he pulls the rug from under their feet, right? But the other way that's different is presentationally, because now he's woven this whole presentation into it. If you watch the routine again, nothing happens for the first couple of minutes. He's setting the premise. He's creating the hook. He's talking about the dumbest casino in the world, where their motto is, hey, the customer is always right. And he paints this picture. And this is something that we do in sales, right? So in sales, we paint pictures and we make people think about things in their head. That's what he's doing here. He's painting a picture of this casino. He's getting people to buy into this story so that when he brings out this card from this casino, everything is justified, right? Because if you actually think about Chicago Opener, there's one card's turned red. Why? Why is one card turned red? I know that there are reasons. You know, people have published presentational reasons as to why the card's turned red, like, hey, I've given it a kiss or whatever the case may be, which is fine. But presentationally, this is absolutely the best way to do things because you're bringing the card out from the beginning and showing it. And, you know, the reason you're bringing it out is because you're talking about this casino that's the dumbest casino in the world. It all makes sense. It all flows. And honestly, I've seen lots of people attempt to improve the Chicago Open or a red hot moment, including me. I've never been able to really improve it at all. But I've seen people do it, and some people have come close. I think it was Cody Fisher who came up with the his-her concept, which I thought was very good. There's a few people that have come close, but I don't think anybody has actually changed it to this degree, where it almost feels like a completely different trick. And presentationally, it changes as well to make sense of that stranger card. And again, like I said, this is a little bit more of an extension of what I was talking about with the pothole trick, which is, as magicians, what we should do is we should try to look at something and say, okay, this is Chicago Open, and this is the way that people have been doing it since it began. How can I change it? How can I make it different? Can I make it different from a technical point of view? Well, maybe I can. But can I make it different from a presentational point of view? What can I say to make sense of this plot? And what can I do to make sense of this stranger card appearing? And that's what Michael Close has done here, and he's created what I think to be an incredible moment of magic where, you know, it's just so good, and you just put the card away and you reset and you're ready to go again. So there you go. That's called the dumbest casino in the world. You really should learn this if you haven't done. I'm now going to show you a very brief video. This is very, very brief. It's of Michael performing on TV and doing a routine. And I want to have a look at this very quickly because I think there's something we can learn from this.
He is playing with magic this morning, and he says he's got something that's going to really fool us. Huh, Dave?
That's right. We're going to actually do the trick with you, if that's okay, Dave. And
Yeah.
by the way, I want to thank the Courtyard by Marriott for allowing us to be here this morning. We appreciate that. We'll probably come back here again someday and use our beautiful lobby. And Mike Close, the best magician I've ever seen in my entire life, my long career of dealing with magicians. You're going to do something with Dave, right?
Yeah, and I'll make it real easy. I'll just ask Dave to name any card he'd like.
Any card at all?
Other than jokers, because I'm working with one. I didn't put one in the deck.
Oh, my goodness. All right, how about the six of clubs?
You want to change your mind, or are you happy about that?
No, I love that card.
The interesting thing about the six of clubs is because this is channel 8, watch this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, before I turn over the 8th card, we did not set this up ahead of time.
No,
correct?
we did not.
We did not talk about this.
No, we did not.
But that's the 6 of clubs.
That's unbelievable. That is amazing, because I almost said the 8 of diamonds and then switched it at the last second.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I almost said the 8 of diamonds.
It's a good thing you didn't, because then it would have turned into the 8 of diamonds.
No way. No way.
You know something? I just...
Dick.
Now, the problem is people at home are going, well, they set this all up.
We did not.
But we didn't.
We did not. I swear we did not.
Okay, so if you've seen any of my videos on memdecks, I've done a lot of videos on memdecks and memdeck magic, and I've openly said in the past, my mission is to get more people using using a memorized deck, because the memorized deck is amazing. It turns every pick a card trick into a think a card trick. Michael Close is the person that inspired me to learn the memorized deck. Michael Close's work with the memorized deck is amazing. Workers number 5 has so much incredible Michael Close material on it, including a very, very good ungaffed invisible deck using a memorized deck, which is simply awesome, to be perfectly honest. So he's got a lot of work on the mem deck. He really has. And one of the things that he wrote about in Workers number 5, I think it was he wrote about jazzing with a mem deck. Now, I should say at this point, you really need to learn and look into Michael's material yourself, but he's very into jazz. and probably is as passionate about jazz music and music in general as he is magic. So a lot of his thinking when it comes to magic is based around music and jazz, and he kind of coined the phrase jazzing with a mem deck, which basically is making it up as you go. You know, you just put a deck down in front of you, get people to name cards, and you just wing it. And I've done a video on this channel about jazzing with a memorized deck as well. It really is honestly one of the funnest things to do, because you don't know where the trick is going to begin, you don't know where it's going to end, and you're kind of just thinking on the fly. I love that sort of stuff. So with that in mind, I believe, now I don't know, I haven't spoken to Michael about this, I didn't tell him I was making this video, but and I've never seen that video before that I just played for you. I was looking for videos that I could use on this on this particular video, and this one popped up, and I decided to use it primarily because it kind of shows an example of Michael jazzing with a mem deck, but also, and I don't know if I'm right, it might be some other trick that he's doing here, but I genuinely believe that he's jazzing with a mem deck, and I also genuinely believe that he got really, I don't want to say lucky, because what you saw there is an example of jazzing. The whole point of jazzing with a mem deck is somebody names a card, and then you kind of go in a different direction depending on where they've named, right? He had a great outcome there because of the channel that he was actually on and the card that the person named. But you wouldn't be able to tell, and the reason I'm even kind of second guessing myself here is because you wouldn't be able to tell that that's what he's done. You kind of don't know, right? Because it just feels like this was the plan all along. And if there's one thing you can learn from this video, it's A, if you haven't learned to memorize deck, you should do, and B, if you haven't done, you need to learn how to jazz with with a memorized deck. You know, and you can see how valuable a tool this is to Michael Close. He was on national television and he decided to just stick a deck of cards down and go, right, let's do this, which I just think just shows the balls of steel that this man has, because I don't know if I'd do that on live television. Now, I might be completely wrong. It might not be a mem deck, but I think it is. I think he's jazzing with the mem deck, and there's nobody that does it better than Michael Close, and it's why I wanted to include this video in here, because I want to show you the power of a mem deck. And when you get comfortable with it and you've been using it as long as Michael Close has, you can really kind of go in a million different directions with it and create absolute miracles with nothing more than a deck of cards. Now, we're going to go into another routine now. There's several routines that are iconic to Michael Close. The pothole trick is one. And there's a few others that I decided not to include on here because I might do another one of these on Michael Close in the future. But there is another particular iconic Michael Close trick that I don't think I could do a Michael Close Performer special without including, and that's the Frog Prince, which appeared, I believe, in Workers number 1. Might have been Workers number 2, but I'm pretty sure it's Workers number 1. Let's have a look at the Frog Prince.
I want to do for you, Medora, my favorite trick. I think of all the ones that you guys are going to see, this is my absolute bottom line favorite. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if I love it because of the story or because of the trick, but it is my absolute favorite. People would come up to me a lot and they'd say, you know, Magic Dude, boy, do I love being called Magic Dude. They'd say, Magic Dude, you have spent most of your life interested in magic, especially magic with playing cards. Someone such as yourself must be well aware of all the legends and lore associated with a deck of cards. And I would say, yeah, right. And I looked one up, and it's a really, really good one. It's the legend of the cursed card or the hard luck card. It is in 3 parts. The first part's a fairy tale, second part's a magic trick, third part's a Greek tragedy. Hey, you're getting a lot from a lousy deck of cards. You buy a deck of cards anywhere you buy them, discount house, drugstore, wherever you buy a deck of cards, there is a cursed card in every deck. A trained professional such as myself can actually find the cursed card from the back due to the subtle markings and imperfections. Maybe there's one here, which, oh, there it is, which make this card different from every other. Now, Medora, you are actually the audience representative. I'd like you to make sure that they're all different, yes? They're all different. Okay, great. The Jack of Hearts is the cursed card. He didn't always look like this. He used to be a handsome prince. This is the fairy tale part, by the way. One day he was walking through the woods and he met a witch. The witch was doing a crossword puzzle and she said, I'm stuck on 29 down. What's a 3-letter word that means female sheep? He was trying to be helpful and said, you. 2, 3, 4. And she took it wrong. And Medora, just like in every fairy tale that you ever read when you were a little girl, she turned the poor Jack of Hearts into a frog. Hey, I'm risking warts for your entertainment pleasure here, pal. From this day on, of course, the poor Jack of Hearts was known as the Frog, formerly known as Prince. Here is this. Here it is. Now, you might think that Jack was depressed. You might think he gave up. You might think that he didn't go on. Well, you don't know Jack. Because he's not like that. He bought one of these, and he went on David Letterman on Ye Old Stupid Frog Tricks. This is just for you, Medora. Oh, come on, boy. Don't panic. Don't panic. Through the hoop. Oh, almost. Oh. Yes! Had to help a little. Had to help. Give him a little boost. That's a 9.5 difficulty. What do you want? Check this out. Stand on your head. Ooh, he can do that. Play dead. Breakdance. Okay, enough of this foolishness. The Jack of Hearts doesn't want to be a frog. He wants to be a handsome prince. 2 ways to make that happen. First involves your puckering up. Curiously, this is illegal in Nevada. The single thing that is, the only thing that is illegal in Nevada. If we were back in Indiana, no problem. But here we are. So the other way is this. We will do a card trick. If the Jack of Hearts can find the card that you select, then the curse is off. If he does an amazing trick, then the curse is off. Sound good? Sounds good. Perfect. To this end, I'm going to have you select one of these. However, I don't want him to see which one you get. God, am I fair. So I will go through slowly, and this is actually real important to me. Lay your finger on whatever card you want, but do not let me influence your choice. Ooh, that one. Did I make you touch that card?
No, you did not.
You want to change your mind?
No.
Pick another one? Are you sure? Because I'll leave it out there where you can keep an eye on it. Make sure everybody can see it. Everybody get a good look at the card. Please take a good look at it. Cheap seats, everything like that. Okay. I have no problem with the card you selected. I would like to bury it a little bit more down into the deck, and I'll even give the cards a little mix. Now, here's what's going to happen. The Jack of Hearts is going to find your card by the process of elimination. That's not as disgusting as it sounds. Here's what happened. Although if you've ever picked up a frog and squeezed, you've seen the process of elimination. I have made 2 piles. Boy, I'm on a theme here, aren't I? I can't get away from this. I put the Jack of Hearts on this pile. Nothing happens. I put him here. Whoa! He jumps. That's because he believes your card is in this pile, not in this pile. Now that you understand how the process works, I can move with some degree of alacrity. All I have to do is see what one he likes, and I eliminate the other. Gosh, I wish my drummer were here. No. Whoa, that one there. So these are gone. These are gone. What are we down to here? 3 and 4 is good. 3 and 4 is good. Nothing there. Whoa, good. That's good. That's good. So we get rid of these. Now, just that fast, Medora, we are down to 3 cards. Down to 3 cards. That one yours?
Nope.
Ace of Hearts? Oh, cool. Whoa, likes that one. Boy, does he like that one. Nope, likes that one. 2 of clubs? 2 of clubs yours? Okay, now be real honest with me. If our friend the Jack of Hearts here managed to get rid of every card but yours, would that be an amazing trick? Did you have a free choice of a card? Yes. What was your card?
Ten of spades.
Was it really?
Sure was.
He got it. Oh, no, you don't. One of these. Okay, do this. Hold your hand out. Oh, we're not done. We're not done. Hold your hand right there. Hang on to the 10. 10. Hang on to the 10. Hang on to the Jack. Just cup your hand over the top. See, you've heard the fairy tale. You've seen the magic trick. The question is, what's the Greek trick? Oh, by the way, we forgot one important part. I told you that if he could find your card, the curse would be off, didn't I?
Right.
Check this out. Curse is off. Yeah, but I know what you're thinking. You know, we heard the fairy tale, saw the magic trick. What's the Greek tragedy? Well, the tragedy is that in life, there must be a cursed card. Did you have a free choice of a card? Look at this. Unbelievable. Holy smokes. Are you married?
No.
Got a boyfriend?
No.
Oh, wow. Put this under your pillow tonight. You may get lucky. Thanks, everybody. Hope you like that.
So, the Frog Prince, how good is that. You know what? I was speaking to a few magicians at the Magic Circle about this the other day, and I couldn't believe nobody had even heard of the Frog Prince. Nobody had even heard of it. Nobody even knew what it was. And I said, oh, you got to learn this. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. It's one of the strongest tricks that you can do. And I remember learning this so long ago. And when I was working restaurants on a regular basis, this would be my go-to trick, especially if there were like a family and they had a teenager or a kid there, because it's an interesting story that kids would buy into, that adults would buy into. It's a fun, interesting story. And it allowed me to give away the frog at the end to the kid on the table, and I'd teach them how to actually make the frog jump. And I learned how to do it. I don't do origami at all. I've never kind of learned it, but I learned how to do this one trick. I learned how to make a frog out of a playing card so I could do this, because I thought this was just so amazing. And I love the fact the way that Michael presents it, and he gets really, really excited, and there's a lot of jokes in there that are kind of cheesy but funny in the same regard. And you know, just the way he performs for me is just so inspirational. Like I said right at the very beginning of this video, Michael Close is such an inspiration to me in my career, and this trick has literally taken me around the world and then some. I do this still all of the time. The Frog Prince is amazing. Michael told me the other day, I haven't actually done this as a Magic Live, and I was shocked. I'm like, really? So you'll probably see a Magic Live of me doing this at some point. And you know, I won't be doing it as well as Michael Close because he's the man. But it's so good, and it allows you, you know, it's a great giveaway. You know, when you give away that little frog, and you fold it up, you know, people are going to remember that. They really are. And it's a great giveaway to be able to give away. You can prepare them all in just a matter of minutes. And it's just like a regular deck of cards. You know, again, I know I'm kind of going on about the same thing, but I think this is the main thing that we can learn from Michael Close, which is, you know, don't just present the trick. Don't just be a put and taker. I'm going to take this here and put this here and then put that over there and then take this here and put it there. And I have to battle myself against that all of the time because I'm not a natural storyteller. I don't tell stories every single day. I'm not a natural storyteller. But I do like, I do have to battle with the whole put and take thing, because if I'm not careful, I can kind of just fall into that trap of doing put and take magic. And I think if there's one thing we can learn from Michael is, rather than saying, I'm going to put this here and take this here and do this here and put this here and put this over here, by telling an interesting story that draws people in, it's a much better way to approach performing close-up magic. So we're left with one last thing, which is Michael's handling of the magnetized cards, which again, I think I first learnt this off Devious, which was the second L&L DVD set that Michael Close put out. If you've not seen the magnetized cards, this is Michael's kind of handling and presentation for it. And it's the presentation we're going to be talking about. Let's have a look at this.
Most of the things I perform have actually been in my repertoire for quite a while. But what I'm going to show you right now, I have actually only been performing for 3 hours and 25 minutes. Because I discovered when I woke up this morning around 7 that I had an ability that I didn't know I had. And I'll show you how it's all about. Sean, feel like you're in good hands with Sean. Terrific. Why did that never catch on? Just say stop.
Stop.
Exactly. I'm going to give you a few cards. Would you like to play? Your first name is?
Amber.
Amber? Just say stop.
Stop.
And, oh, there's a few for you. And say stop.
Stop.
Okay, and there's a few for you. And maybe, would you like to play along? A couple for you? Go ahead, check out those. That was fine. It's fine. Sorry about that. Oh, now, folks, you don't have to memorize the names of the cards you have. That would be enormously tedious. But what I do want you to do is to examine them carefully. Now, we have very powerful light sources up here. So take each card. You can do this now. Take each card you're holding. Hold it up to the light. Please, go ahead. Look at the front. Look at the back. I want your fingers to touch every card. If there's a card that isn't a real card, I need to know about it. A card with imperfections or discrepancies, because I'm taking them back to Costco. Are yours okay?
They're fine.
Excellent. And did you get to see yours as well?
Yes.
Fabulous, fabulous. How about you?
Wonderful.
Thank you, Amber. And what am I doing here? That's okay. And yours, and good. All right, here's the deal. I'm going to do a couple things that on the surface will appear very odd. Okay, way beneath the surface, they're going to appear very odd. But there's a method behind. First, I'm going to take off my watch, just so you don't think it has anything to do with what you're about to see. And I'm going to fold back my shirt sleeve. Lance Burton does this. Anybody gone to Lance's show? Didn't he do that? He snaps those things right back there up in his coat like that. Snaps them right back up there like that. Apparently, chicks dig it. No. And an important job for you, this is Erica here. Hold your hands out. Yes, one like that and one above it, but palm down. Bring your hands together. Check out my hand with your hands. Are there any threads? Are there any wires? Go ahead, go right over it. Are there any magnets or Scotch tape? Nothing. Is there anything at all that one would consider tacky, other than you're feeling up my hand, aren't you? Yeah, you certainly are. Now, I realize that's shocking for Lake Tahoe, but Vegas, that's tame, believe me, because you can get a lap dance at a Starbucks in Vegas. She said her name was Latte Grande, so I don't know. So what happened to me this morning? Well, here's what happened. I discovered to my complete surprise that I am the most attractive man in Lake Tahoe. You couldn't even hold that in for half a second, could you? Not half a second. You couldn't cut an old man the tiniest bit of slack. Ha ha. It's like working for Nelson over here. Now, as was so tactfully pointed out by my friend over here, I am not attractive to men, nor women. None of the Murrays like me. Callbacks are great, aren't they? But playing cards think I'm the bee's knees. Now, what is this? This is a juggling stunt. Penn Jillette taught me this. This is the rosette, the circle of cards. It's just balance and calmness. But this is what freaked me out at 8 o'clock this morning. Now, I am at a bit of a loss to explain why these cards are sticking to my hand. I feel I am the most attractive man in Lake Tahoe, and my raw animal magnetism makes these cards stay there. Lance Burton has a different idea. He thinks I suck. But you know something? Keeps them there. Very gently, sir. Gently is the key word. Just slide one of those out. Good. One for you. Are they just playing cards? Is that what they are? That's okay. Are they just cards? Is that all they are? Okay. What's keeping them there? Here's my guess. I believe that what holds these cards in place is my massively inflated ego. The best way to get them to fall is to bring that down to a manageable size. This is your job. Look deeply into my eyes and with as much disdain as you can possibly muster, say to me, "Oh, nice tricky trick, magic boy." Let me have it. Both barrels. Here it comes.
Oh, nice tricky trick, magic boy.
Okay, so first of all, the magnetized cards is amazing, and not enough magicians do it. And I haven't seen many magicians do it. Eric Tate has a wonderful handling of the magnetized cards, but it's not a common thing that you see much these days. But it's a great routine to do, especially in a parlor situation. You know, it plays so big to a big audience. But I think the thing that we can learn from this is not that magnetized cards is good. We kind of all knew that already, right? It's again the presentation, and I know I'm gilding the lily here, but you can just tell, well, I know from reading his books, but you can just tell that Michael Close really thinks about presentation. He really thinks about how to present a trick, and the magnetized cards is a perfect example, because most people who present this, they just do that. They're like, hey, these cards are magnetized, look at this. Oh, I'm so clever. Thank you very much. Goodbye. But the way that he's presented it about having an ego and, having the cards, the reason the cards are sticking to his hand is because he's got a massive ego and he gets the spectator to insult him at the end and all the cards drop down. That is just such a really funny premise for a trick. The premise is just so good. And I think we talk a lot about creativity on this channel, and we talk about how to create a magic trick. But I think another aspect of creativity that's just as important as how to create a magic trick is how to create an interesting presentation that really kind of sells the trick that you're doing. And this is a perfect example of that. You know, he's taken a trick that everybody does, and he's created a really funny presentation that's just instantly kind of laugh out loud without even trying. I mean, it's just great. That moment there where the cards drop, really strong, really strong, and just another reason why I love Michael Close. So there you go. That is the 5th routine on this 5x5. So there you go, guys. That's a 5x5 in the bag. I want to know down below now what you think. Have I inspired you to learn some Michael Close material? Have you studied Michael Close's material before or not? And if not, hopefully I've opened the floodgates for you to go and check it out. His online shop is amazing, and you can go and check it out, and you can buy everything as an ebook. There's a load of ebooks and video downloads and so on and so forth, and he's constantly updating it, adding more things and more bits and pieces. He really is a legend in the magic community. So I want to know down below, what's your favorite Michael Close trick? Which Michael Close trick do you perform all the time? It might be one of the ones I've talked about. It might be something else. Let's be honest, the man has produced so much amazing magic and is a fantastic performer. Anyway, that's it for this week. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. More importantly, please don't forget, if you haven't already done so, to go and join the Nettrix. It's www.thenettrix.com. It's my online streaming platform. It's available to join right now. Hundreds of videos, and you can see what all the fuss is about and why so many people are now active members. I'll see you again. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.